Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to this video where I would be narrating to you a story about a poor but content couple Ganesh and Karjan. In Shri, he is a potter, which means Kumhar in Hindi. With a humble and manageable lifestyle, they are both living. As we enter the story, we find out that they both have a son who they love dearly and wish for his happy life and future to have a further, more fuller and happier family. The story establishes this by showing the little boy getting married to a girl of his age in an arranged marriage setup, which is a positive form of child marriage or Bal Viva, where after the marriage the young bride goes back home only to return after a few years when she is all grown up. Everything was going well for this family who worked hard and lived a simple life. But one day a rich man comes with an offer for Ganesh to run a free public service inn, where the job was to look after the travelers looking for a safe and secure stopover where they can take rest. Because the location of this inn was remote and this philanthropic endeavor would help many people, this man had a lot of money, he wanted to help people, but he could not do it himself. So, he decides to hire Potter Ganesh, who had a good reputation of being kind hearted, straightforward, and an honest man who everyone in the village and surrounding areas trusted easily. The offer was very good, and the rich man wanted only Ganesh to do it because of his good reputation. But Ganesh had to leave his pottery work to give all time to the social service based inn, along with the help of his wife. However, Ganesh could also pursue his pottery work personally, not professionally, whenever he could get the time. So he decided to teach this skill to his obedient son, who might not get the same job as him in the future. This folk tale from Rajasthan starts showing great tones when different kinds of people show up at the inn. The lifestyle of Ganesh and his wife and son goes good. It's a well-paying job with satisfaction, a place to stay. They had no other expense or worry, but human greed increases and everyone wants to gain more, to earn more, and due to that they cannot enjoy what they have in the here and now. Their simple life is disrupted when a wealthy merchant couple makes a visit. The merchant's wife was very sick, and Ganesh saves her life, providing her with the right medicines and care. On the other hand, the couple's greedy sons are more concerned with business and profit, and they leave the next morning without even checking on their mother. At first, you feel sympathy for this couple, but once the wife recovers, it's obvious that they are also very business minded and materialistic. They notice that the boy has a broad forehead and displayed intelligence, devotion, and skill of work at very young age. They make their own calculations and they feel that he is very lucky and keeping him around will bring more prosperity in their business. But they could not say this directly to Ganesh and his wife, that their intention was actually to take their son away because of their own self-centered needs of making money and business profit. So, they make a business offer to them and tell them that they are pleased with their hospitality and they can take their couple's only son to their own place, which was located in faraway land, and would teach him trade and make him rich and also give him 50% of the profit share. When he grows up and becomes independent, he can go back to his parents loaded with riches, business acumen, and a stable career. Their grown-up son can then bring his wife back home and also provide her with a great lifestyle. Initially, Ganesh is resistant to the idea of parting with his son and doesn't feel so sure, but the businessman and his wife are good at convincing them, and both Ganesh and Karjan get greedy and greed corrupts them. The promise of big wealth is not something they could turn down, and they sacrifice their beautiful present life, a happy family, and reluctantly agree to let Lakshman go. But after they are left alone, they start missing their son a lot, pining for him. A new idea enters their mind and they become obsessed about becoming rich themselves. They believe that earning a lot of wealth can help them reunite with their son and they can bring him back. They don't think through all of this, and instead of thinking about a proper solution, after all, Lakshman is their own son, they begin to ponder on a morally corrupt thought. Then comes a newly married couple to their inn. Karjan stares at her shining jewelry with greed and cannot help but entertain the idea of somehow getting it all for herself, hook or by crook. She is full of lust. Her husband also feels that this would be right, even though it corrupts their soul and lifelong values. They are not the same people. anymore. Because in the past, they literally didn't want to care about a lady's forgotten silver anklets, but now they were all willing to kill a couple and steal all of their shining gold and diamonds and find a way to keep this a secret. So they do it. And this leads them down a path of killing and bloodshed for money. And no, they don't stop there. Greed becomes more overpowering. Whenever unsuspecting travelers stop at their inn, trusting Ganesh and Karjan fully because they see them doing a job of service. But Ganesh and Karjan become ruthless serial killers instead in order to steal people's possessions. Externally, both of them look like a caring and ordinary couple, but internally, their insatiable desire and thirst for riches blinds them, turning them into monsters. They destroy their core nature, and there is no one to catch hold of them because of the location of the inn and the faraway distances people used to cover back then, going from one place to another. Their inner voice does question them when it manifests into a dacoit who praises Ganesh's devotion and goodwill to care for travelers just before he's about to kill a businessman who was otherwise on the run for his life and feared the same dacoit. Ironically, the dacoit decides not to kill the businessman because he sees Ganesh holding an axe. But he assumes that he is okay to even die in order to save the guest at his inn. The dacoit is very impressed and he leaves from there with his men. But still, Ganesh kills the businessman. The sad part was the same businessman had asked Ganesh and Karjan. He had requested them to give all of his wealth to his wife and kids. But that never really happens. Ganesh had seen or noticed that God did save the life of the businessman, but he took his life still. Eventually, it's when they kill a blissful man who had no wealth, then they feel that they don't want to continue all of this anymore. They make a promise to themselves never to kill anyone again. And they realize that this behavior has turned into an addiction gone out of control. Finally, one day, a rich young man reaches their inn. Just before he arrived, Ganesh and Karjan were hoping that a big caravan full of people would stop and their son could be there too. But they all leave. In the case of the young man, they get distracted by a cart full of riches he had with him. The man appreciated the house and was interested in their story, and he also looked a bit suspicious. While having dinner, he asked them about their son and why would they let him go away. They told him that they wanted a good life for their son and felt that sending him away would give him a career and a lifestyle that would secure his future. And as parents, they were not capable of doing so. Whatever opportunity they got, they felt it was the best for their son Lakshman. Karjan, who was earlier a bit annoyed by the presence of this man, now started feeling an emotional connect due to his talks. But in the night, Ganesh decided to kill him in order to keep all his wealth. Karjan reminds him that they had decided not to kill anyone anymore and they already have enough money. But Ganesh didn't change his stance. Ultimately, he killed the young man. The next morning, they're surprised to see their son's wife reaching to the inn on her own, which then led them to a tragic realization and utter shock. Their daughter-in-law frantically informs them that yesterday their own son had left for their inn to surprise his parents, wanted to see if they recognize him or not after all these years. Their son was very happy to reunite with his parents and had brought all his life's earning with the dream of living with them and his wife. He had no clue that his simple and hard-working parents had turned into greedy serial killers. Poor guy had accumulated all the wealth for 12 years to be able to look after his parents, but he got mercilessly killed by them. The story highlights how human greed can lead to moral decay of people and they can destroy their own peace and contentment. From the very beginning, money and rich people used to possess a power that Ganesh and Karjan didn't understand, and that reflected in their decision making. The story ends with a dramatic tragedy of how the pursuit of huge amounts of money can sometimes lead to self-destruction and also the destruction of a beautiful family. This film won a national award for Best Costume Design and was presented as an outstanding film at the London Film Festival in 1989, titled as Pariniti, which means the inevitable or fate. Story is directed by Prakash Jha. You can support my content on Patreon or PayPal. The links are given below in the description box. And you can also read my own book, which is called In the Name of Love. Love is spelled as LUUUV. The link is also given in the description box and you can get it at a really cost-effective price. I will see you in the next video with yet another interesting story.